All right, we're here with Eric Bolling at the Turning Point USA High School Leadership Summit. Thanks for joining us, Eric.
Well, thanks for having me, Eduardo.
So what brings you to these summits where you want to speak to young people? I mean, what's the message you have for them? Why do you keep coming back to these?
Great question. In February, I was at CPAC, and Matt Schlapp, who runs CPAC, runs the ACU, said, come talk to the people about your situation. I have a tragedy in the family, which I'll get to in a second. And I said, Matt, this is it's more social and political. He said, let's give it a try, see how it goes. And it turned out to be a massive audience. The place was packed. And the talk was about opioids. And the reason why it was important is I lost my 19-year-old son to an accidental opioid overdose. And it really resonated. And I realized at that moment that there's a message that needs to get out to help save people from the tragedy that we went through, my wife and I went through. And it's important. So many people are touched by it. I was blown away after the speech how many young people came up to me and said, I know someone, or I've been clean for 3 years, or my brother lost his best friend, or my sister has friends who are using. And you guys care about it. The bottom line is young people do care about this issue. And I think people my age, or people over 35, let's say, don't see it as alarming of an issue as it really is, and that your generation does understand. So when Charlie Kirk asked me to come and speak at this, I said, yeah, this is good. This is something that's going to help not only people who hear the story, but it helps me actually, think I'm doing something good in the wake of my son.
I'm going to say thank you so much for doing that, because there hasn't been someone, I think, with your stature in the media who's been willing to talk about that kind of stuff. And I think, as you said, maybe past generations, there's kind of a negativity surrounded opioid use, and no one wants to touch the subject. But you've kind of had an open discussion. The President of the United States has cheered you on. I've seen you on television a little bit talking about that.
Let me touch on that for a second. You make a very important point. Older generations look at opioids with a stigma attached to it. They think heroin, they think needles in arms, but the reality is people are dying by taking one pill that's laced with something bad. And so what my point to President Trump, you point out President Trump calls me several times after the tragedy, and my point to him was let's help remove the stigma of opioid addiction. So let's not treat addicts like they're criminals. Let's get them some help. Let's get them some resources to get help. And I think they weren't as completely on board early on as they should have been, but I think they're coming around to it, and that's kind of my job to make sure they do.
So in addition to this opioid issue, you also have a new show, America, on CRTV. It's geared to everyone, but I guess what would be your pitch to young people to watch it, aside from the fact that it's, number one, the thing that speaks to me is it's not on TV. Look, young people don't really turn on the TV to watch TV. We watch on our phones, iPads, whatever, and that's something that I think is good about your show on CRTV. But so what would be your pitch?
But very, very interesting you say that, and that's the move. The cable cutters, you guys are cutting cables left and right. There's no reason to pay $200-300 a month for a cable bill when you can pick 4 or 5 shows that you like and tailor to what you like. So here's I have one pitch, and it's insanely good. It's a show that's high politics. If you're a political junkie like a lot of us are, if you love politics, if you love talking about politics, it's a show that starts out with a ton of opinion up top with big names like Kellyanne Conway or Sebastian Gorka or senators or wannabe senators. That's our A block. Our B block is straight news. Here's from political reporters in D.C., but here's the part that'll get everyone. It doesn't matter how old you are watching. Every single day at the end of the show, the last third of the show, we walk into our set, which is actually a working bar in D.C. So it's a live bar that's actually happening. They can see and hear. They can watch the show. They can hear what's going on. We have speakers happening. And so people are at the bar having a cocktail listening. And then I go in and talk to them, and it doesn't matter how old you are or where you come from, what color you are, gay, straight, white, black, doesn't matter. You have an opinion. And everyone's opinion is actually more qualified than mine or even some of the people we're talking to as elected representatives, because in essence, you and people in the bar are the reason for what we're doing up front. And so I really think it's a really cool concept that I've been thinking about and developing for the better part of 10 years. And CRTV was cool enough to give me the reins, give me the steering wheel, and it's a race car.
And you kicked off the show with a bus tour. Am I right about that?
Yes, yeah.
Would you be doing that again? Because I saw a couple clips of that, and I thought that's an interesting way to
Let's break news. Let's break news. Yeah, we're going to do another bus tour. Right now, our producers are going,
bus tour coming.
What? It was amazing. We went to we went to South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee, and did like 5 shows in 6 days. It was crazy. Slept on a bus, and it was a lot of fun.
So let me ask you, as someone who, I like to ask this to a lot of the speakers here, because this is something young conservatives face on their campus, when they enter the professional world. How do you deal with being a minority, a conservative in a field of liberals wherever you are? And how do you deal with the attacks? What advice would you give to carry yourself?
Have a thick skin, especially you, my friend. If you're a young conservative and I want to be on TV or want to be in media, it's you'll get attacked. I mean, the left will come at you with some of the most disgusting, disgraceful things, and you just have to take the hit and get back up. And once they realize you're going to keep getting back up, they tend to back off until the next dumb thing you do, which you will. We all do. And then they hit you again. But it's really just never quitting and just being persistent.
That's good advice.
Yeah. The resistance, be persistent. Yeah.
And so what's a political hot button issue that you think young people are kind of ignoring, but they should pay a little closer attention to?
Okay, here it is. If you're conservative, what's the future for the Republican Party? Is it the old school Lindsey Graham, John McCain, Jeff Flake, the old-timers, the establishment who have been doing business in this country for 240 years, not really getting much done? I mean, spending a lot of our money not really getting much done. Or is it Donald Trump type of conservative Republicanism going forward? It's exciting. It's different. We're winning. Scoreboard looks great on the economy. Looks good on safety. Looks good on foreign policy. And it's more vibrant. The rest of the world is going, who are they? What are they doing? Well, I think that's good. So you guys, we're going to hand it off to you. You have a choice. You want to go back to the old school type swamp, or do you want to go exciting America First agenda? And it's really the hottest political debate going on right now. In fact, I'll give you one quick story. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but this is now Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday morning, I went on Morning Joe. I went into the fire. I went into the belly of the beast. The MSNBC for conservatives, it's not home team. Let's put it that way. And I had a debate with a guy who was old school anti-Trump establishment type, and we went back and forth. I was defending the Trump agenda. He was fighting with me. Well, we went. Monday it was so hot they brought us back Tuesday morning. We did the same thing Tuesday. This morning, literally still in bed, and my phone rings and it's unknown caller. This happens once in a while. I usually don't answer it, but I answer. It's President Trump who said, "Hey, I watched you on Morning Joe. You were good. You beat him, and you're right, by the way." So, where else in the world would the commander in chief, the leader of the free world, watch you and then call you because he liked what he saw on TV? Yeah. I love him. That's what I love about the guy. He's so real.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. He gets it, and you get it, and that's why I liked when you went out on the bus tour, because the establishment types in D.C., they have their views, and if you don't go out to the other parts of the country, you don't have to justify why may people think that way. And I think the two of you certainly get it in that respect. I have 2 more questions for you. What is in your opinion, the biggest accomplishment of the Trump administration so far, and what is the one thing they've done that maybe you disagree with that they could have done better?
I think the biggest accomplishment is 2 years ago when I guess people were starting to declare, or they had already declared that they wanted to be president or even running. I still remember ISIS, and I remember the video. I watched the videos of the decapitation, the beheadings that ISIS was doing. I remember people worrying about whether ISIS was infiltrating our high schools, in our colleges,
right.
Where there's cells in Minnesota and Michigan, where there's cells in Florida. I remember those days, and it was like, It was a legitimate fear. Well, I don't have that fear anymore. I just don't feel that fear when I wake up in the morning. It's not one of those things I think about. It was then. I think so. Yeah, the economy's doing great, and personally, I expected that because he's a businessman, Donald Trump. But this is the other side. I think certainly America is a safer place because of Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the biggest accomplishment that doesn't get as much recognition as it does. As far as what he could do better, listen, I'm a free marketeer. I'm kind of leaning libertarian. I just hate the ideas of tariffs and higher fees and taxes. If he uses it in the right way as a stick, in other words, China, you want to charge us 20% to bring a good into China, we'll do the same until we both lower.
Right.
If we both lower, and that's the method there, then great. If we just both higher our tariffs going back and forth, I don't like it.
I was going to say, I agree
think there's a better way to play
on that. The issue alone, I don't agree, but if it's going to be used as a negotiating tool, it can be justified at least. All right, Eric Bolling of CRTV, America, catch it, 5 p.m.?
Every day live at 5, but also go to crtv.com. all the shows, if you miss it live, they stay up on. It's literally Netflix for politics.
Yeah.
You can binge watch us if you want to.
Maybe you'll have me on one day.
We'll do that.
All right.
We'll
Thank
do
you,
that,
Eric.
Eduardo.
Thank you.